Jimmy. James, son!
It is another morning here. Welcome to the Jim's channel, or whatever the fuck my channel is called. And today, we have ourselves another car. A 2000 Lexus ES300. It was sold to me by a retired school teacher who said she just doesn't use the car anymore, and it has been sitting here for quite a while. I think it still has current registration. It sure does, because we are in December 2020. About $1,000 for this. I couldn't say no. They lovingly left the driver's side window down, which is always nice. It's got a aftermarket stereo. Starts up okay. Turn this down. Turn this to outside. On a lot of cars, the recirculate will activate the air conditioning, which is what we don't want. Sounds okay. It's got those pillarless doors. Tires seem pretty good. Does seem to be running pretty well. Well, alrighty, I'm gonna hop in and I will give you guys a ring when I get to the car wash. So we're here at this ridiculous self-service car wash, and I've driven it a few miles now, and there's no warning lights on, surprisingly. It does have 215K, which is pretty good for a Lexus. It does have one warning light, which is for the rear brake bulbs. It looks like one of them has gone out. But other than that, it drives absolutely perfect. It idles just fine. The stereo seems to work reasonably well. The interior is not great. It suffers from the typical Lexus cracking of the leather, because, you know, it's a Toyota. But yeah, let's wash this car. Came out pretty clean, I think. There's some scuffs, and the paint is, you know, Toyota paint in the sun. Especially this beige color. It seems to do that more than any other color. But it came out pretty good looking, at least on the outside. I'm gonna go over here now to these vacuums and do a little bit of work to the inside now, because I know that this seller, and they always do, left me a bunch of surprises. They always do. I tell them clean, oh look at that. Tell them clean the car out before you give it to me. Ooh! For the locking lug nuts. I always tell them, please clean the car out. That's gonna have to be fixed. And guess how many times they clean the car out? They don't. But yeah, time to vacuum. Once vacuumed, the interior and the back's not too bad. A little dirty and stained, but that can be, you know, armor-alled and vacuumed and all that good stuff. But this one's gonna need a little bit of work done to it, clearly. It's pretty leprosy filled. And this is gonna either need a cleaning or a replacement. And the interior in the front is in generally nasty, dirty shape. So we're gonna have to do some stuff to this. Boy, this thing really does have a nasty interior. I don't know how much armor I'm gonna need, but probably gonna need more than this. It is nasty in here. Just spraying one spray has only removed the top layer of dirty filth. There is still much to go. It's time to play everybody's favorite game, What Was Left in the Center Console, even though I told the previous owner not to. Let's find out. On level 1, they have left the little locking thing to remove the special locking lug nuts. I actually really appreciate that. Thank you. However, on the second level, well, not so much. We've got the nade butt, wonderful. Long cable for, it looks like an Android phone, completely worthless to me. Some packing tape, I can actually use this, I like packing tape. Some deep clean, Colgate. Some hand sanitizer. This is worth its weight in gold now. Keep that right there. A mechanical pencil. That's how you can tell she was a teacher. Only teachers use mechanical pencils. Ooh, a toothbrush. Let's see. Yeah, it still works. Another mechanical pencil. Oh no, this one's a pen. Never mind. Some change. Hey, look at that. Just like Obama promised us, all that change. What else is in here? Come on, that's all we got. Oh, there's a owl statue from TY, like the Beanie Baby company. Not bad. I think that's all there is. Ah, well. Thank you guys for playing. I always appreciate it. I'll see you on the next episode of What's in That Center Console. I decided since I was already cleaning, I'd go through the glove box and clean that out too. It's got this cool multi-CD play thing that I have never seen before in a Lexus. I'm sure they all have it, I just haven't seen one. Also came with all the original booklets. And I also like this. I thought this was really neat. It's the original business card from Las Vegas, Nevada, where this car was sold brand new. Isn't that neat? And then digging further and further into this box, I found, receipts. So there's a receipt for a new battery. This is a receipt for some recent work, totaling $978. And there's a lot of stuff they checked here. I mean, there's a lot. Then on top of that, there's another recent receipt for a further $656 with another bunch of shit on it. So this thing has definitely been maintained by its previous owner, and that's what you want to look for when you buy a used car. Something that somebody actually took the time to repair and didn't just throw it to the side. Also decided to adjust the stereo while I was in here cleaning. Can't play too much of that, but I do love that song. I really do. It reminds me of Halloween for some fucking reason. But it's getting cleaner every second in here. The leather back here is pretty good. It's getting a little tired though and a little dry. That's why we have this leather cream conditioner. People do not condition their leather well enough or often enough, and that's what leads to a lot of this damage to these car seats. People need to learn to do this more often. So what you do is you basically spray this out of the bottle and then just rub it into the leather, and it brings a little bit of shine back to it. Also brings a little bit of elasticity back to it. So trying to solve that dashboard light, the one and only light that says we have a brake bulb out. I checked the two brake lights earlier, and they were fine. So now we've gone ahead and pried this thing up. You can see I removed the third brake light, and it does look pretty burnt. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this with a new one and see if that clears the light. As you can see back there, I have the whole third brake light housing assembly completely taken apart. The reason is because even with a new bulb and a bit of sanding and anti-corrosion, the brake light still does not work. However, after going down here, you can see that the fuses go 10, 10, and 15, and these fuses go 10, 7.5, and 15. So that is not a 10. We need to take that out and inspect it. Well, I figured it out. See this green wire that runs along the side of the speaker cone? If you go all the way and follow it, it goes to like this little junction all the way in the corner over here. Someone has tapped into this wiring harness here to install an aftermarket trunk release that is located in the glove box. As a result, they poorly tapped into the brake light wiring for some reason and disconnected one of the wires, so this was not hooked up to anything. Now it is, and let me put all this back together and see if the light goes out. Well, there you go, all the lights are off now. So I'm gonna go into Walmart and get a steering wheel cover and some floor mats for these nasty floors, and let's see what else I find. This steering wheel cover straight up has fucking mold on it. But anyway, I think that's not the one we're gonna take. We're gonna go ahead and get this one. It's not bad. I'll take it. So of course on the way home I get this stupid light telling me another one of my lights is out, and I'm like, what the hell? There's no way another tail light was out. I just checked. Turns out it wasn't my tail light. Apparently this thing tells you if one of the headlights is out too, and one of them's out. It's a bright ass bulb. It's really bright. It's crazy bright. You can see that one of them is out, so I'm gonna have to go get a new bulb, and it's kind of stuffed way back in here. You gotta twist this thing and pull all the electrical connections out. I figured since I'm down here, one of my favorite things to do is inspect everything. Everything looked pretty good. The coolant level seemed more than reasonable. Brake fluid looked good. Oil looked pretty good. The only thing I really found was that this Notice how this tie down for the battery is just missing. I actually happen to have a brand new one for it. So we'll be securing that safely. And the only other thing that I think I'm gonna do is check the air filter, remove this MAF sensor and clean it with the proper MAF cleaner, because these are always dirty and people never check that. And it is a huge cause of high idle and poor idle. And I'm also gonna clean these throttle body butterfly valves, the two of them. I'm gonna check them and see if they're all gummed up. You can see that this appears to be a replacement motor of some kind. It's got the markings on it. But everything looks pretty good. You can tell it was taken care of. There's new mounts, coils were replaced, hoses, radiator hoses. So, like I said, somebody has been in here before, but they haven't monkeyed too much around. Alright, well after going down in here, I have discovered some weird shit going on. There's this thing which goes to a wire, and then see that thing down there, which it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to try to squeeze you in there. See what I mean? Jelly bean? Don't really know what I'm looking at there. I think that's a projector bulb is what I'm assuming. But yeah, I'm going to put that back in there and see if maybe that's what's causing the headlight, because that just fell out when I opened this thing. I did not disconnect that. Anyone want to see something scary? It's the next morning. Took me a few minutes to get the whole headlight assembly out, because there was no way that I was going to be able to access the headlight from behind. There was just no way. Not without removing a bunch of stuff. So I took the headlight assembly out, and what I found was that this bulb was just missing. I don't know what happened, but the previous owner must have just unscrewed it and tossed it away. Now I thought that was pretty odd, so I went to the store to get another one. It's called a D2R HID bulb. And as soon as I went to go get the bulb, I understand what happened. One item, right? Holy hell. Over $100 for a single light bulb. That is pure insanity. I could see why they didn't replace it. Unfortunately, that's not an option for me, so we're gonna go ahead and replace this, and hopefully, cross your fingers, it works, because I'm gonna be pissed off if it doesn't. I made sure before putting everything back together that both headlights are working. And they are. It's kind of hard to tell because the headlights are yellow, but it's working. So thank goodness. Well, Jesus, I wonder why the car is idling high. That's supposed to be cherry red, like a candy. There you go. That looks 500 times better already. Since I was already in here, I decided to take the entire air filter housing out, like I said. It's on the floor right here. And check these. You can see I've already started cleaning this one. This one's a little dirty. They're not too bad, but they could always use a cleaning. Well, I think that's a lot better than what we started with. So what are we doing now? Taking this nasty ass old tint off. I'm sure in the 90s it was very nice, but today it's not so nice. You can see this is the second layer. This is the first layer. And that's where I've taken it all off so far. I'm just going to use a pretty standard brand new razor blade scraper and some rip-off Windex with ammonia in it. I'm just about finished with the passenger side now, and I've attracted an audience. Yeah, they like to watch whatever I do, God knows for what reason. But they've been trying to play with this little box full of Kringles, full of, like, you know, that stuff. That one especially. But it came out pretty nice. Nice and clean. Driver's side also came out pretty clean. I still have to do the back window like this. And this window back here is awful, so that one too. While I was out here, I also happened to notice this demonic billboard behind me. Look at that thing. That's just creepy looking. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to doing this. So it's been a few days, and I went ahead and cleaned that MAF sensor and cleaned the throttle bodies. And after I did that, I had to reset the ECU twice because it just would not relearn the idle. No matter what I did, the idle was always stuck at around 1100 RPM in park. And sometimes it would just climb up to 1600 RPM for absolutely no reason. So I thought maybe I did something wrong, and I started doing some checking in here, and I realized since this motor had been replaced, more than likely someone had fiddled with all of this. So I came in here and found out that this little stopper right here on the throttle body was open like this, because this was adjusted. You can see where I've had to back it off. This was adjusted way too far forward and causing the throttle body plate to always be stuck open. So over the years, this car had learned a high idle and just kept it that way. So once I cleaned the MAF and cleaned everything else, I realized, you know, something was probably going on. But now the car is running absolutely perfect and I'm having a great time with it. The headlights have been polished so you can see through them nicely now. Go ahead and shut the hood. I decided to come out here to the old abandoned Cinemark. It's not really abandoned, but the coronavirus basically made it obsolete, so it might as well be. You can see the car looks pretty good. The headlights are nice and polished. I cleaned the tires, so they look nice. Lots of tread left on them. Paint looks pretty good. Unfortunately, there is fading on the top, and there's nothing I'm going to be able to do to cure this paint fade, but oh well. Got the badges for the back. I was very lucky to find those. I didn't think I would. The interior has been fully cleaned up, so you can see, and I'll go in the other side, and so you don't have to look at my shadow all day. But the interior looks 10 times better than it did when I got it. These leather seat covers are okay. They're not great. They're supposed to be made to fit, and they most certainly are not, but I'll live with it. Steering wheel cover makes the steering wheel look much better. New floor mats. I did clean up the interior. I had 3 separate vacuumings, I think. The dome light now comes on with the doors open and closed. I did check the sunroof and it works absolutely perfect. I cleaned this up as best as I could from all that schmutz that was on here from somebody's arms. And I even got this to work. Yep. So everything is working in the car now. There's actually nothing that doesn't work, surprisingly. So I will show you when I start the car up. Go ahead and close these cool doors. Once it settles right where it's supposed to. A nice healthy idle. I've put almost 200 miles on it, so I know there's nothing really wrong with it. I've given it a complete shakedown. But overall, this car came out pretty good, and I'm pretty thrilled. This one was an easy one. Usually there's some kind of mechanical nonsense involved, but this one had very little mechanical issues. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.